Hey yo, it's your Advanced Game Boy Secret Agent 531. Today we are gonna be doing a tutorial and a one chunk iron farm, which is really amazing. And here we go. So this is the iron farm that you may or may not have seen in one of my other videos. So for one of my tests, I had to figure out how to send a redstone single up and make it where it's the best way possible. So for starters, from the prototype that I had, this right here, and so I did a test with this, which you can see that that's a water column that's in here. And so I did some test and how to use this, and this was my first test that I did from the prototype there, which was all done, but then when I did this test, I decided to go on that for for making the iron farm to be better. And so on to the next test. Okay, from this test here, this was my first test of having the iron farm done. So I did the redstone, I did the water column, the typical things for the iron farm, but then if I were to turn it on, when there's an iron golem that is in that location, so apparently with this iron farm, it doesn't work. So this way is north, like facing that way, so that's south. So if the iron golem is walking south to a trapdoor, it doesn't work, which is weird. And this would actually make it work, but yet the but this trapdoor will cause problems if you stack it up more. And that's gonna happen later on when I get to that part. So I did this test and thought, why is that not working? So I looked at the prototype and oh, it must be only working in the east-west location. So I did this, flip this, the iron golem spawns and goes into the lava. But yeah, this test worked, and so I thought, oh cool, so if I do it in the east-west location, then that will be fine and the iron golems will just spawn and go into the lava. But then to the next test, you will see that there's a X right there, because apparently this one doesn't work. So I did it from east to west, and yet from the iron golems going into that direction of, if you look, that's eastward. And so when the iron golems spawn and go towards the pillager, they will not fall into the lava. So if I turn it on, they won't actually go into the lava. So why, I don't know why, but then on to the next test. Okay, so now this test worked, because you can already tell there's a check there. So this farm works, because if I flip this, the iron golem will spawn and then go into the lava. And so I'll just wait until that happens. And the iron golem just spawns and goes into the lava just like that. And so this test worked. And so this test worked. Okay, so for the one chunk iron farm, it's in one chunk, and so when you find the chunk that you're looking for, then you have to find this corner, the furthest east and furthest north corner of the iron farm, and so you make it in the corner here, like this black is the corner, and so you go down 2, and so this is the starting black. You go up, so this is the 9th black, so the 10th black would be a honey black, and so that's because in this area right here, there's gonna be a pillager that's here, and so you have a honey black and a cauldron, so you're gonna put a pillager in this cauldron, and this is the redstone for making this making it where it's trapped inside the cauldron, and so I'll talk about that later. But for building it, the 10th black is a honey black, and there's a cauldron on top of it. And then from the honey black, this is the 13th black here, and the 14th black, that's a building block. And so this right here would be where the villagers would be, and that's a pod of 3 villagers, and so 3 villagers would be in that pod. And then from this black, the 3rd black down, you turn, and then the 7th black would be here from this one. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the 7th black is here, and these 3 blacks are the ones that the iron golem spawn, and this is where the trapdoor is, and you flick that down, and so when there's a pillager there, and 3 villagers there, and when that pillager scares the villagers, then there's an iron golem that will spawn here, and then when the iron golem spawns here, the iron golem will look at the pillager and will walk towards the pillager and then fall into the death chamber right here. And so that's how one pad is made here, and so that's how you make the death chamber, and then you have any collection system that you want underneath the lava, and so this is a basic one here. So in order to build another pad, so from starting back to this black, you go 11 blacks up, and then add the 12th black is the building block, which is where the other pod is for the villager pod of 3 villagers in here. And then this black is the same black, the same height as the next pillager, so for the honey black, and you just do that because that's where the iron golems will spawn. And you can see that you just add everything up 12 black, because starting from this black, if you go up, this is the 11th black, and that's the 12th black there for the pillager. And so obviously you see the piston here, which is a sticky piston with a glass block on top, with the observer here and another observer here. And so this water column sends a redstone single up to this, and so from the water column, you go all the way down here. This right here is a switch to turn it off, so if I do that, then you can see that the glass went down, and if there's a pillager in there, then it will stay in there and be hidden from the pillagers, even if, I mean, the pillager will be hidden from the villagers, so even if you can see the pillager, the villagers won't know that it's there. So from down here, you flip that switch for it to be on or off. But if you turn it on like that, the glass black is moved back. And just right now, it just went, that was perfect timing. I'm amazed at that. But so when it turns nighttime, this daylight sensor detects nighttime, turning this redstone lamp on into an observer that detects this lamp to be on, and so it sends a quick 1-tick pulse, redstone pulse into this black, and this repeater reads it, and it has to be on full delay in order for that 1 tick to have a longer effect. And then that redstone will go into this redstone pulse extender to have it a longer time to pulse, to have a redstone pulse, and it goes into this piston, moving this out of the way for this water column to be, well, updated. And so that's the redstone, and that's practically the whole build. The iron farm build is now in your brain. Now this right here is the new improved iron farm from the prototype. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 villager pads in that farm, and for this farm there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pillager pads. And so from this iron farm, I don't know how long this has been running, but it gets a lot of iron. And again, so if I go F3 and G, it's in one chunk. And this area right here is the most eastern part of it, and the most northern part of it. And this is just in one chunk here. And so if I turn this iron farm on, you can watch it be going on. There's an iron golem right there, and it falls into the death chamber down here. And yeah. But yet, if you're still listening, that's not the limit of this iron farm. You see how fast this goes? This is a really nice iron farm. It goes decently well speed, but then what if I show you something crazy? So this is the iron farm right here, and it goes all the way to build height and all the way down to bedrock. And so right now so that farm had 6 pillager pads and villager pads, but this one has 31 villager pads in one chunk. So if you go for here, there's a pillager there, a villager pad there, and this is the iron farm for one whole chunk. And if I go all the way down here, it has all the same redstone, And so while I was testing this iron farm for just this one chunk, going from bedrock to the build height, it was messy. So when the iron golems spawn and they are falling down to the death chamber right here, then there's a chance that another iron golem would spawn, and when that iron golem were to walk off the edge, it will bump into one of the iron golems already falling, and it will go into this area where they have a chance to kill the pillagers. So, but yet, when they fall into this area, there's a pool here to push them back into the death chamber. And so there's another one all the way up there, and then this is how it works. And obviously I'm gonna show you it in working action because it's amazing. So if you just turn this on, you see that the villagers are awake now during the night, and so now they will spawn iron golems. And there's the first victim there, the second victim. And so because of how many there are, there's just a constant stream of iron golems going into death chamber. It will just take a little bit more time for them to actually wake up the iron golems, and now we see the iron golems working. And so from me just standing here for like, it was less than 30 minutes, not even an hour had gone by, and this is how much iron I gotten from this farm. It was insane. And this right here is from less than an hour of AFKing. And so this farm is insane if you make it from bedrock to build height. And so, yeah, that's practically everything that there is to do for the iron farm. Obviously there's, for the water stream, it's very scary because there's water and there's redstone, and so the best advice is to not build this like pillar for the water with a burnable block, because I did that and water spilled out, breaking all my redstone and destroying the lava. And so don't build the water column out of wood like I did, because the lava will burn it. Okay, that was the iron farm that I created, and I hope you enjoyed, because it was very tough and very strange to do all the testing. And so, goodbye. Waiting for an iron golem to spawn. Whoopie-doo, whoopie-doo, whoopie-doo. Iron golem, spawn. I summon thee forth. Come forth, iron golem. I want people to see that I'm not crazy and this actually works, so it will be best if you spawn iron golem.